Good evening and welcome to Let's Go Youngstown. We're at the, you want me to let me get out of here? We're here with Fred. Fred, you want to tell us about what you do here at the Haunted Lab?
Actually, I am the building supervisor, so I keep track of our whole staff of monsters, supervisors, and the brakemen. And if there's, customer loses a phone or a piece of jewelry, they come down to see me, and I'll call up and we'll look for it.
You keep your things in order.
Yes, sir.
Can you give us a little brief history on the building?
Actually, it was a laboratory at one time. They did a lot of research with space monkeys, with monkeys for outer space. Watch too many cartoons, And this actually has the world's first vertical wind tunnel in it. And they did a lot of research for space here. They fabricated one of the first parachutes here. So there's a lot of history behind it. And then, of course, you have the stories, the rumors that it actually is haunted.
Now, have you had any experience with any paranormal activity here?
Yes, I have. Most of the full-time employees also here have had weird circumstances, unusual things that have happened. So, yeah, we do believe.
Can you give us a little story real quick?
Sure. I was here working by myself. It was late at night and going through checking all the lighting for the scenes and everything, and I was out of light bulbs. So I ran next door to get a fresh batch of new light bulbs, and, I got back, got up to the third floor there, and all the lights were off, just on the third floor, which I had all the lights on. I was doing the light bulb, and I left. I had enough for that evening, so yeah.
We're here at Akron, blah, blah, blah.
Space monkeys.
Space monkeys. All right, so this place was established in 1974?
1974, the Haunted Schoolhouse opened its doors for the first time. It's 3 stories now. When it first opened, it wasn't. We didn't have the time to get it all incorporated. But we're walking up to the entrance on the 3rd floor now. This is our 41st season. We consider ourselves one of the oldest haunted houses in the world. The Haunted Laboratory next door is 34 years old. Between the 2 attractions, we have 7 floors of terror and 100 live actors. You're not going to find this at any other haunted house. We were the first to do it. We were the first. Every haunted house has a moving car. We were the first. We were the first in the industry to do it. This scene initially was just the attic, but a few years ago we added this tree to make it look like a tree had fallen through the roof. Perfect. You lost your wig. You lost your wig. Again. And what we actually do, we audition every single person for specific roles. If they want to be the clown, we ask them, give us your best clown. And this kid did the best one we saw.
Can you set down the mic and help me wipe? Yeah, I'm talking to you.
Give him a hand, Kwai. Help him wipe. He's got Looney.
You had the camera going long enough, you pervert.
He's got his Looney. This is my favorite scene. It took almost a full year to construct. It's the only one that we have that it actually encapsulates 2 stories. Everything in here was made by hand, except for this. When Don passed away, the owner of the haunted house, we actually collected flowers from the top of his casket and put them strategically in 7 different scenes, one on each floor between the 2 buildings. The one here is right back there on top of the hourglass. This was one of his favorite scenes in the haunted house, so that's our way to pay tribute to the guy who got us started. That was also handmade in-house. We've added some new lights and some new set decoration.
What inspires scenes? What motivates you to do new scenes? Is it the new movies? Is it?
That's a good question. It really is us just kind of sitting down going, hey, I think this might be cool. So we're just really... It's just really us sitting down, talking to each other, planning, seeing what we think would work. And this is something you're not going to see at any other haunted house. Completely,
What's that, the poo monster?
it's the worm. Very cool. What we did, this floor was all very sci-fi and spacey, and we decided to try something a little different. What you'll want to look at when you're wearing the glasses is the oranges next to the blues look awesome. Oh, this is nothing. It gets really cool at the end of this floor.
It still looks really cool because it reacts to the black light really well.
Well, what we are on is the 4th floor, which is where the animal pens would have been when the monkeys and rats and mice and all things were going into outer space. Hold on tight to your stuff. You're going to be on a wobbly bridge here. But if you look at real, like the oranges and the blues, those are the ones that... Now this is the best scene for the 3D glasses. You gotta look real close at like that orange, and the orange on his guts, and the orange on this guy's face over here. This room was actually just a hollow brick tube, and we came in, had 2 guys attached to pulleys at the top. It's kind of hard to see, but we built separate floors below us, kind of try and light it up for you. But there are little floors. If it weren't so foggy, you'd be able to see it. And we chopped them apart with the axes to make it look like they had been destroyed. But you're not going to find this in any other haunted house. It was just the way the structure was. We thought, hey, let's put it into the show.
Now, do you guys visit other haunted houses?
We do. And a lot of other haunted houses will come to us because we all like to see what each other's doing. We all like to encourage each other and support each other and that kind of thing. Very, very dark. On the wall there, that's a picture of Don, the guy who started this place. He is the one who passed away in May of last year. So that's just another hidden tribute to him. But Don loved details, so he would go in, put up really nice wallpaper. That wallpaper was brand new when we got it, but now it looks like it's been there for years. We age all that stuff. We leave a lot of stuff outside in the elements before we bring it in and put it in the show. Like this old front of the barn, it's actually an old front of a house that we had somebody thrown away. So we got it, put it together, and put it up here in the haunted house. We do have 100 live monsters scattered between the two buildings. But we have dozens and dozens and dozens of sets. The very first scene here is newer, and it has some really awesome actual medical equipment that was donated to us from a closed down hospital. So all this stuff was really used in a hospital for years and years and years. And what you're looking at here, this is an actual embalming table that came from a closed funeral home that was updating. They wanted to get rid of it, so they brought it to us. So think of all the numerous bodies that were drained on that table. It's actually kind of gross. The fluids come out of you, they drip down, collect in that tank.
Do you guys get a lot of donations from the community?
We do. A lot of places kind of enjoy the idea of having their haunted, their stuff kind of memorialized here because otherwise they're just going to throw it away. And then we hold open auditions multiple times a year to bring in new actors and actresses. All this was handmade from scratch.
Props?
All of it, yep. Pretty awesome.
Now, do you have somebody on staff that's in the special effects and stuff?
We have several. The guy who made this has actually worked in multiple movies. He worked on the Power Rangers movie, believe it or not.
I've been waiting on you!
We got two things.
This one's about done. Come here! Have a seat! What are you doing? We ain't done yet.
I'm here with the media. Get them behind me.
Tell us about the different types of crowds that come here. Is it primarily family, date night, friends?
It's really everybody. We get people here A lot of kids, this is their first haunted house. This was my first haunted house. This is what made me fall in love with haunted houses. And then we get people all the way up, hey, how's it going? We get people all the way up to 90 years old that come through here.
How was it?
Awesome.
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 It was good. How'd you like it?
Amazing.
Amazing.
How did it scare you? Just the sound. The sound.
How was it so far?
Insane.
We're joined with Lexi and Ken. What do you do here, Lexi?
I'm the manager on the hayride, on the Haunted Blood Harvest hayride, as we're calling it this year. It's a mile long. Every scene is active. They have to be theatrical out there. We have clowns from black-eyed kids to a disappearing coffin to a humiliation scene to a foam barn that they have to go through. Also a pumpkin patch.
Ken, what do you do here?
I am the house manager for the haunted house here at Blood Moon Farm. We have monsters every corner you go. Pretty much you can't even go through the line without getting scared once. It's pretty good.
It has changed over the years. Different scenes here and there. We kind of came off of the moms and dads of horror, which would be Mike Myers and Freddy Krueger's. We actually started making our own characters. For instance, all the clowns on the hayride, they all have their own name, from Stitches to Buttons to Giggles and Jingle and all that. They all have their own identities, and their makeup follows that. We also have the one kid, his name is Eye Candy. All his makeup is basically candy on his face. So, I mean, it has come a long way, and this year's brand new, so we're actually stepping up. We actually have a name for ourselves right now. As you guys know, Blood Moon Farm. So basically, it's all taken back to the 1800s. Basically, our backstory kind of explains how it was an insane farm back in the day. If you look around us, there's tons of farmland around here, especially across the street is Experimental Farm. Also, just all the buildings and stuff, it's very eerie up here at night. So if you guys would stay around, you know, ride the hayride, go through the house, you will kind of get the feeling of the whole farm era of the 1800s and everything.
We're here with Ken from the Slaughterhouse. Ken, what's your favorite part about being a part of the Scaregrounds?
The part that I love mainly about being at the Scaregrounds is I get to play with a meat hook all night. I mean, I'm swinging that thing around like a madman. I'm slamming on the bars. It's great. People get really scared. I love the scares most of all. The scares, it's a great feeling when you get somebody on the ground rolling around crying. I can't describe it. You'd have to try it. Sometimes I gotta admit, man, I feel bad for scaring some of the little kids. So I try not to scare them as much anymore. I give them a high five, you know, because they're usually crying by they get to me. Then they see a big guy with a pig mask and
Tara, so how long you been doing makeup?
Well, it's been a hobby for me for about 8 years, but seriously doing makeup for about 3.
What exactly is it that you're doing to her today?
I am basing her out with Endura, the European body art paint. It's called Pale Dead. We're basing her out so she looks not alive. I focus on her, like right in her cheekbone area. In order to capture somebody to make them look this way, you really have to accentuate their own bone structure.
So this portion of the makeup, it gives her face depth?
Oh yeah, it definitely like accentuates her brows.
How easy is it to get this makeup off?
Oh, it's an alcohol-based makeup, so you just have to use an alcohol wipe.
Or Dawn dish liquid.
Or Dawn dish soap, or I mean it can come off with baby oil. It's really not that difficult as long as you know what to use.
How long does it normally take for you to get the character together and get the next person in the seat?
Usually just a few minutes. Now that we have our brushes all up and running, and I do like a little, just like a skeleton. I make it look like a little skeleton here with her ribs and everything, and we accentuate her neck. Anywhere where she bends, it's always nice to give her some depth.
Tell us about how the place was established and by who.
It was established in 1992 by Dominic Barragona and Mid-America Events. He had been doing haunted houses since I was 9. I'm 39, so he's my father. And so he drugged me into the business at age 9. So when this opportunity came available to be at the fairgrounds, we took it, and we've been here ever since.
What is one of the more popular themes at the Blood Moon?
Oh gosh, this whole year is new. Blood Moon Farm itself is new. We rethemed Canfield Scaregrounds. We have the old farmhouse. We have the slaughterhouse, which you see behind me. We have an interactive midway. We have a hayride. We've revamped and redone the whole hayride route. And they're all different and popular for different reasons. You know, some people like the hayride because it's a little more family friendly. Some people like this because it's really, really scary.
Now, that was my next question. Is the place family friendly or is it for adults?
I would say mostly for adults, just because we've really ramped up the scare. You know, we want to compete with a lot of the popular haunted houses that exist, and they don't take into consideration family friendliness. But that's why we keep the hayride, so at least there's something for families to do.
Now, how long does the Halloween season last here? When do you guys start?
We started in September. We're one of the early birds. We started in the end of September, and we run all the way through November 1st. We do Friday, Saturday, and Sundays from 7 to 12 on Fridays and Saturdays, and from Sundays from 7 to 10. And we are open one Thursday because there's no school the next day for kids, and that's October 16th from 7 to 11.
Now, walk us through the process of setting up things. How does that go about? Do you guys come together and collaborate, or is it independent?
Well, Dominic and I do a lot of the thinking prior to us, you know, coming to do the setup. Well, we kind of map out everything, we get everything situated, and then we get our big team of managers to come together and really build and decorate. And it's a process because it's temporary. It goes up in 2 weeks and comes down in 2 days.
Wow.
So to do that, it's a lot.
Now, how does a typical day start before the guests start arriving with makeup and design?
Okay, so we usually start, like I said, between 4:30, 5 o'clock with makeup. The kids go to costuming, they get their costume, and then we have a bracelet for them so we know who gets makeup and just kind of keep it a little more organized, I would say. And then we get the makeup trailer going and it's hooked up to air compressors, and we use a lot of airbrush makeup thanks to European Body Art. They do the makeup for Face Off, and they sponsor us as well. So shout out to those guys. They're great.
So how many people do you employ as far as makeup, stage design, actors?
We have 150 monsters, what we call our actors are monsters, and then we have a team of about 20 people that are management, makeup artists, and, you know, behind the scenes people. So about, you know, when it all is said and done, almost 200 people come together to make this thing work.
Now, what separates your haunted attraction from other haunted houses around the nation?
That's a good question. I think we're different. I mean, we use a lot of things people would never think of using for a scare. I don't want to be, I want you to come and see us, but you know, like the slaughterhouse, a lot of people have that kind of a theme, but it's never done like this. If you come in and see it, it's like the slatted wood, and it's just totally scary.
Now, what is a common reaction when the guests normally leave?
Well, to this attraction alone, they've been buying extra tickets to keep going through and going through. So we're real happy with this and the house. People love the house and the changes we made this year. We just put our heart and soul into it. I think that's another thing that makes us stick out. It's not just a business to us. It's our home. It's what we love to do.
Now, with this being one of the more popular attractions, what's scary today might not necessarily be scary tomorrow. How do you guys stay ahead of the curve when it comes to fright?
That's a good question. I would say a lot of it is over the summer. We really try to stay up on what's new, what's up and coming, and what's scary. You know, back in the day, it was just your little pop out of the box scares, but now you have to be gory. You have to be, you know, really intense. And so we think of that. Even as this will end, we'll be thinking of next year's themes.
Now, do you actually participate in this as well as, are you acting as well?
I do sometimes act. I can't dress all the time in case, you know, they need me, or a mom or a parent comes up and they need me. But I do throw on the costume. I can't go a whole season without acting because I love it.
Now, what's that like going to be a performer 3-4 nights out of the week, scaring people, jumping in people's faces? What's that like?
Oh, it's awesome. It's definitely, it's hard on your body, but it's fun. I think the fun overcomes the physical aspect of it. People love to do it.
Is there any paranormal activity in the area that you know about? Any ghost stories around this?
That's a funny thing. You should mention that. You know, I've been here, like I said, since '92 without really any incident. But last year, one of my fellow managers, she's with me, and you met her, Alexi. She was messing around with the Ouija board, which I don't mess with that stuff. That's one thing that this girl will not touch. But ever since then, strange things started happening. Our fire alarm went off at 3 whatever that witching hour. It was like 3:03 or 3:13 every single night in the morning since she did that. It was really freaky.
You think she conjured something?
I think she brought something we didn't want, and it's more scary than I wanted even.
You think you can get that ghost on the payroll?
I don't think they're even asking for money, so maybe we'll keep them around.
Hey, thanks for letting us come today and
Thank you,
check out the
Kwai.
place. If you guys are looking for a good place to get a good scare, come out to the Canfield Fairgrounds. They're running till November 1st.
November 1st, you got it.
Tune into the CW Sundays at 6:30 for in-depth coverage of the area's hottest events and entertainment. You'll see musical performances, your favorite restaurants and nightlife, exclusive interviews, and more. Watch Let's Go Youngstown